What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and I almost never make videos like this, but I was sitting here thinking, and I was like, you know what? YouTubers, at least as far as I'm aware, almost no one's really made a video like this, and I feel a video like this needs to be made, so I'm going to make this, and I'll probably never do anything like this again. But I am coming up close on 1 million subs, which I'm really excited about, and my fans are the reason why I've gotten there. My hard work, their support has helped to culminate in the channel reaching close to 1 million subs. Hopefully we'll cross that point sometime in the next few months. But you learn a lot of things on the road to 1 million. You learn a lot of things on the road to 1 million. One of the very first things you learn when it comes to YouTube is to plan for the future. Now, I am not a lawyer. I am not an attorney. I am not giving you legal financial advice. I'm not even giving you legal advice. All I'm telling you is these are the things that I have learned, but I'm going to make a few assumptions here. One of the first assumptions that I'm going to make is that you are in a position on YouTube where you have the ability to start making money. And I'm not talking about, oh, hey, I could buy a new pair of Nike Shox. I'm talking about money. I'm talking about you sitting down and saying, man, I could quit my job. Yeah, man. Like I'm making money on YouTube. I'm making some cash. Now I'm willing to bet that money is burning a hole in your pocket. I'm willing to bet that money is killing you. Like you're just like, man, I gotta spend that cash, son. I gotta spend that money. Now, if you're in that boat, if you're in that position, go on that trip. Go to San Francisco for the weekend. Take your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, whatever the case may be. Go to Seattle for the weekend. Get dinner, get a steak at an amazing restaurant. Yeah, do that, man. The place where you go and you sit down and the person says, I'm your server, my name is such and such, and assisting me today are two guys. One guy will refill your drinks, another guy will give you your food, and your server will just check in on you occasionally and see if there's anything you need. Your server has assistants. Go to that restaurant, have an amazing time. Have an amazing time. Because when you get back, my friend, you're getting down to brass taxes. You are going to sit down when you get back and you're going to ask yourself some very serious questions. You're going to say, where am I in life right now? Am I a college kid? Am I in college right now? Am I just going, getting up 7 o'clock in the morning? Do I have a psychology class at 9 a.m.? Do I've got a genetics class at 11 a.m.? You're going to sit down and you're going to say, okay, what am I going to do? I'm making money on YouTube. My channel's growing. I'm getting a few hundred subs a day. It'll turn into a few thousand subs a day. And my channel's just going to start growing like crazy. Money's just going to keep going higher and higher and higher. Do I really need a college degree? Come on, man. I'm making more money on YouTube now than I would ever make with a college degree. And that's true, man. The money you can make on YouTube would dwarf anything you would make with a college degree. There are people with master's degrees that will never see the kind of money you're making on YouTube. Maybe you have a full-time job, right? You get up 7 o'clock in the morning, you get your cup of coffee, eat a banana maybe, you go into the bathroom, you shit, shower, and shave, you get out, and you get dressed, and you get in your car, and you drive to your job, where you sit in your cubicle for 8 hours, dying for when you can get home, and play Horizon Zero Dawn, record yourself, upload it to YouTube, and watch that cash roll in. You're probably asking yourself, do I really need that job? Do I really, really need that job? I imagine you're thinking about probably leaving college. The money you're making. You don't need college. I bet you're probably, thinking about quitting your job. The money you're making, you don't need that job. You don't need your boss giving you shit, asking you about TPS reports. You don't need that. Let me tell you something, man. If you leave college, if you leave your full-time job, you are what we in the business call a buffoon, a fool, an idiot, a moron. You want to know why? Because YouTube won't last forever. Let me ask you something. What happens if you have a gaming channel and you're super, super popular, but then gaming stops being popular on YouTube? Well, then what's going to happen to your content? Why isn't it? If the people that watch your content now grow up and the new people who would come in to fill their place aren't there, well, then your views just start going down. Your views start going down faster than Miley Cyrus. Like your views just tank. They tank like Britney Spears' career. It's just gone in the blink of an eye. Well, then where's the money? There's no money. Where's the huge future that you saw for yourself? Where's that at? It's gone. It's up in smoke. It's disappeared. Nowhere to be seen or heard from again. So here you are, no money, no job. But if you'd stayed at that full-time job, you would have been like, man, I've got my steady paycheck. My bills get paid, my rent gets paid, my utilities get paid. I've got retirement, 401k, 403b, whatever, you know. I've got benefits, health, not the greatest, but it works. You know, it's what's necessary. If I go to the doctor, I pay a $10 copay, $20 copay. You got dental insurance in case you ever have kids and one of them needs braces. You got eye insurance in case you need to get some glasses like these. You know, these glasses are sexy, by the way. Don't tell me they're not. I know they are. If you're in college, oh man, market sucks for kids with college degrees. Well, what happens when that market comes back and suddenly there's a need for people with college degrees? You're better off for it. You got a degree to your name. Don't leave college and don't leave your job. Instead, what you're going to do is you are going to go find a financial advisor. You're going to go find someone who specializes in making sure that people don't go the way of MC Hammer. You're going to go find a financial advisor and you're going to say, hey, look, man, here's what I want to do. He's going to say, okay, cool, what do you want to do? And you're going to be able to tell him what you want to do. You want to know why? Because you sat down and you made a plan. You said, hey, look, I'm a single guy, or I'm a single girl, or I'm a married man, or I'm a married woman. I've got a family, whatever the case may be. I want stability. I want a huge amount of stability. And the best way to do that is to buy a home. So you say, I want to buy a house, and I don't want a mortgage if I don't have to get one. I mean, I guess I could get one if I needed to, but I want to be able to buy a house in cash. Cash money, son. Cheddar, come in. Like, I want a house that I own outright. And you tell your financial advisor that, and your financial advisor says, okay, well, how much money are you making? You say, man, I'm making this amount of money a month. And your financial advisor is going to be like, holy shit, that's the kind of money you're pulling down, son? Damn. And you're going to be like, yep, that's the kind of money that I've got. And they say, okay, fine. Then here are the things you need to do. If you have kids, you're going to say, I want my kids to not have to worry about student loan debt. Maybe the economy never really gets back to where it was before. Maybe there's never really a huge market for people in bachelor's degrees. You know, maybe it's never going to be one of those situations where things were before the economy tanked in 2008, where you're going to sit down and you're going to say, you know, I got to ask the question, if a bachelor's degree is what a high school degree used to be worth, well, then what's a high school degree worth now? So you're going to say, if my kid is going to have a bachelor's degree and be struggling enough as it is, do I really want to add student loan debt to that? Or do I want to be able to go to my kid and say, hey, look, your college is paid for. All you have to do is just not screw up, because if you do, your college won't be paid for and you're going to have to work. So you go to your financial advisor and say, hey, look, I want to have money set aside so that my kids can go to college one day. You go to your financial advisor and you would say, you know, I want to have this kind of stability so that when the time comes where I can successfully leave my job, when the time comes when I do have money going into my retirement, when the time comes where I can walk away from all that and enjoy luxury, I don't have to worry that if YouTube comes crashing down, that it all goes away. You want to sit down and you want to be able to say, I want to be able to leave my job and I want to go on vacations. I want to upload videos on YouTube and schedule them out 2 weeks ahead of time so that my family and I, we can go to Disney World. Do not be one of these YouTubers that gets so overwhelmed with their success, they get so carried away with how successful they can be that you just throw it all down the drain, that you leap before you look. Be smart with the kind of income that you're making. Now, what's the next thing that you do when you're a YouTuber? I mean, you've got the finance stuff out of the way, right? This video is turning out to be kind of lengthy, but you got the finance stuff out of the way, all right? Well, what do you do now? I mean, you know, you want to keep your channel growing, right? And, you know, because you sit down and you say, okay, look, like, it's entirely possible that in 5 years or something like that, that the views on my channel will drop off. For whatever reason, the interest just won't be there anymore. Maybe interest in YouTube gaming goes away. Maybe if you're like me, YouTube and comic or interest in comic books will eventually go away. And you want to have other ways to make up for that. You want to have other revenue sources. You want to have the ability to have other projects on the side, or maybe you just want to do something greater. Maybe you're like me, right? You sat down one day and you watched The Chef's Table on Netflix and you said, oh my God, the cinematography on this is insane. I want to do that, but I want the videos to be about geek culture icons, about Stan Lee, about like Markiplier or about like, you know, some other YouTubers out there who are just huge icons, Yaya Han in the realm of cosplay, people who are just icons in geek culture, like recognizable names. You say, I want to make videos like that about documentaries. So you say, okay, look, I want to start making the direction to do that. But your question is, how? I don't know how to do stuff like that. I mean, there are people out there who do, but I mean, I don't know how to do stuff like that. Well, the first step to being able to make contacts, the first step to being able to talk to people is not to be a dick. All right. Do not get on Twitter and start lambasting people. Do not get in your videos and start talking trash to people. You want to know why? Because you have to treat your YouTube channel like every video that you upload, that everything you say on Twitter is heard by the world. Conduct yourself appropriately like a reasonable human being. Now, maybe you're going for that market of drama. Maybe you're going for that market of talking down to people. Maybe you're going for that market of causing problems, and that market's there. But let me ask you this. When the time comes when that market's not there, who's going to be willing to lend you a helping hand? You're pissed off at everybody. Who's, you know, if you say, hey, look, like, guys, you know, I'm trying to break into new markets. Can you help me out? People are going to be like, yeah, I remember you. You're that jerk who was talking bad about me on Twitter. I saw your video where you called me out. Yeah, good job on your 100,000 views. Best of luck to you in the future. Network and make friends. One of the best pieces of advice that I ever got was from a guy named CNanners. When I first started getting into YouTube, I was watching all these different videos, all these different, you know, pieces of content. Guy named Hutch, you know, Sean0728, I think is his actual YouTube channel. He got me into Call of Duty. From his channel, I found guys like Blame Truth. I found guys like Excalizors, Sandy Ravage, The Mark of J, The Trout 91, A Moody Swede. But CNanners was always my favorite. Now, eventually, I ended up, you know, starting my own YouTube channel, the one that I have now, Comics Explained. One of the first things I did was I sent a tweet out to CNanners, and I said, I'm trying to start a YouTube channel. How do I grow? His response, network and make friends. 4 words that changed my life. So I turned around and I started networking and I started making friends. I hit up a guy named Comic Story and said, hey, do you want to start a YouTube channel or you want to start a podcast about comic books? And he responded some 3 or 4 days later. I didn't think he was actually going to answer, but he did. We started a podcast called The Weekly Pull. We reached out, we grabbed a third guy named Sal from a YouTube channel called Comic Pop, and the rest is history. Network and make friends. People that you've pissed off are not going to be inclined to help you. Now, you might look at this and you might say, so you're telling me that I need to curtail my content. You're telling me that I can't speak my mind, that I can't say the things that I want to. I can't be whoever it is that I want to. Oh, you can. Yeah, man. Freedom of speech, man. You've got freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want to. You can make a YouTube video lambasting YouTube. You can make a YouTube video tearing down every YouTuber that's ever been bigger than you. You can make YouTube videos that just don't do anything but espouse negativity. You have the freedom to do that. You also have the freedom to deal with the consequences of it. So, make your own decisions. Do what you want to do. I'm just saying, the best chance for you to have a career outside of YouTube is to have friends that will help you along that path. Case in point, a buddy of mine made a YouTube video. Who this buddy's name is irrelevant, and what the YouTube video was about is irrelevant, and who it was that he was talking to is irrelevant. But he made a YouTube video talking to a particular person, addressing something about that particular person that he didn't like. This particular person made his Twitter account private, and the result was that he and I had this great big huge conversation. I said, let me tell you something, man, let me ask you this. You want to branch out of YouTube, right? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, what happens if the person that you lambasted, who made their Twitter account private, what happens if you want to branch out into like another place, like Screen Junkies or something like that? And this person that you pissed off could have been your contact to get you into Screen Junkies. Not only will that person not get you into Screen Junkies, when that person meets with Screen Junkies, whenever they're just kind of hanging out, they're just talking at cons like a lot of different people do, you know, Screen Junkies brings up a video where they say, hey man, like this guy made a video. Like, was that about you? And the guy's like, yeah man, he made a video about me. Here's what he said. You won't believe what he said. That guy's a dick. Your Screen Junkies contact is gone. Well, so much for your opportunity. That's just the way it goes. That's the way the game's played. You're free to say whatever you want to. Just recognize that you have to treat your YouTube channel like everybody in the world sees it. Everybody in the world hears it. Your online presence is everything. Don't be a jerk. Be true to yourself. Be honest about who you are. But understand, a time will come when you may need the help of others. And when that time comes, you want to make sure that you didn't offend them. You want to make sure that you didn't piss them off, that you didn't send them running. You want to make sure that they're going to be willing to help you. That you can say, look, I can help you, will you help me? And they'll be receptive to that. But in any event, guys, I figured I'd just kind of throw out a few thoughts here with regards to, a little tidbits, little things that I've learned along the road to YouTube and my road to 1 million subscribers. But in any event, if you guys are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.